Who are you?
My name is Mari_Yen. I'm a goldfish princess VTuber. I am a streamer. I stream on twitch.tv. I love playing games. I love having a good time. And I love chatting with people.
I have to ask, why a goldfish princess?
I actually didn't start that way necessarily. I just started as a goldfish VTuber because back in the day when I first started VTubing, almost 3 years ago now, I created my own character and I learned Live 2D because I was in a manic trance one night and I created just a goldfish girl. You couldn't really even tell she had a little goldfish clip in her hair and just long brown twin tails and same color scheme and everything. But I am not really sure why I went with goldfish. In the end, I think it might have just been divine because when I showed my friends, they said, "Wow, how did you come up with that? You are just like a goldfish." And I'm not really sure why I chose goldfish because I'm not necessarily attached to the concept of goldfish. I think partially it might have been because when I was younger and I was still in school, I was in school to be a marine biologist, and so I kind of wanted something water themed or aquatic. And I just thought goldfish was I just thought it was cute, I guess. And it worked out. But later down the line, as I started to grow further away from the original Live 2D model I made, and I finally patted down the artist that I wanted, uh, I kind of just wanted to have like a Pokemon evolution, kind of in the sense that Magikarp did, and I wanted to make it royal. Because I figured, what a better way to evolve than become a princess, right? And so I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna be a goldfish princess now because I feel like I've gotten to a point where I can be confident enough to be a princess. I think at first it might have been a confidence thing because I always liked the idea of being a princess. Before I had started VTubing, actually, one of my favorite animes at the time, or manga, the anime was just coming out, was Sleepy Princess and Demon Castle. So I was always kind of like drawn to the idea of princesses. And I guess after a while, I finally grew into streaming and I felt like I was good enough to be a princess. And that's why I'm a goldfish princess today. Oh, but as for my alternative outfit, there's not a whole lot to it. I just thought it was really cute. One of my favorite Hatsune Miku songs is called Do Re Mi Fa Rondo, and it is like 90% based off of her outfit in that. And that's about it. I really love idols, and in some idol media, like Idol Master, the girls have alternative outfits that are marching bands outfits. So I just thought it was cute. I just really liked it. That's about it.
How did you get into VTubers and VTubing, both as a consumer and then eventually yourself?
Well, I have been watching VTubers for a really, really long time. One of my first VTubers that I had ever seen, it was actually happenstance on like Facebook. I had this friend who kept posting about this anime girl named Sister Claire, and I looked more into it and I found out that Sister Claire was a streamer. And if you're not aware, she's a Niji Sanji liver. I think I found out about her in like 2019, maybe even 2018. I don't know if she's been going that long, but I don't have a really good sense of time. But it's been a really long time. So the first VTuber that I really found out about, shockingly, was Sister Claire. Even though I don't necessarily have a huge attachment to her, she led me to find my favorite VTuber of all time, even to this very day, despite her being graduated. Her name was Ota Jibara, Jibara for short, and I was in love. Like, she brought something totally new. She was just like totally unhinged, making monkey noises, talking about penis, whaling hundreds of thousands of dollars in gotcha games. Just completely up my alley, and it totally changed my life and my perspective of streamers in general. I had known a little bit about VTubers before then too, with obviously like Kazuna Ai, but I was never really interested in that. But as soon as I found out about Jibara, I was like, whoa, this girl is rad. This girl is awesome. So I guess my first exposure to VTubers really was Niji Sanji.
And you said that to this day she's still your favorite, right?
Oh, absolutely. I still love her to death. Like, she's. Sometimes when I'm really sad and I'm really lonely, I'll pull up old clips of her. She kind of help keeps me grounded, you know? Whenever I feel kind of down about myself, I'll watch clips of her and I'll think, you know what, maybe I can be the way that I am and I can get somewhere how I am, as I am. Because I guess in a way, I really looked up to her as somebody who was more similar to me, and it's worth so much. But beyond that, I also grew to really love Pikami, because as much as I love Jibara, she doesn't speak English. But as soon as I found about Pikami, like, it finally clicked, and I thought, whoa, like, I could do this too. Like, anybody could be an anime girl on the internet.
Jibara and Pikami, are they sort of what led to that inspiration of that one manic night where you learned how to do live 2D and made the little girl with brown pigtails?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, if it wasn't for them and I didn't know about them, I wouldn't have done it at all. I wouldn't have had anything to do. I'm not necessarily sure why I thought it was a good idea to make my own live 2D, considering I wasn't the greatest artist and I didn't I didn't know a whole lot about technology. And even to this very day, I'm still struggling with it every single time I go live. But I did my best and I made something after several tens of hours. I know, not that many. Tens of hours attempting to figure out this brand new program and skimming through YouTube videos and trying to figure out how it was they were controlling these anime girls. And I don't know. I guess it was just fate in a way.
Gotcha. Was there any like particular moment where you decided like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do it now, or was it just kind of having watched them for a while, just one night you kind of went, "Yep, I'm doing it."
I think it was totally just off the bat, just random, completely out of nowhere. One thing that I've been notorious for almost my entire life is uh I'm kind of a wild card, I guess. I don't really it's really hard for me to stay with one thing and stick to it. At least it always used to be. And so I always got these random shots of creativity. And I genuinely thought this was just going to be another one of those things that I tried for a week and it never amounted to anything. But now I've been a VTuber for nearly 3 years.
Do you have a current like Oshi or like a couple main streamers that you watch? Yeah, just like a little rotation.
I do have a lot of VTubers that I watch, but I'm trying not to claim Oshis right now because I feel like every single time I call a VTuber my Oshi, they graduate. Jibara, Pygmy, Sana. Every single VTuber I've grown especially attached to has fallen off of the face of the earth, and I think it might be a curse at this point. But the VTubers I do watch right now, I really enjoy Subaru from Hololive. I absolutely adore her. Even though I love uh Luna the most forever, she's my favorite. I love her design. She's so cute. She's so talented. I've been watching a whole lot more Subaru recently. Like she just lights up my life. Unfortunately, I can only watch translated things of her, but I absolutely love her personality and I love her voice, and her duck concept is freaking adorable. I absolutely adore it, and I love her outfits and everything. I love Subaru. One VTuber who I also really like, also from Hololive, is I've been watching a lot of Korone recently because she does a lot of retro games and Nintendo games and games that I'm really super interested in as well. So definitely Subaru, Korone, Himemori Luna. Unfortunately, I haven't really watched a lot of Niji Sanji in the recent years, but occasionally I've been watching Selene. She's really fun. She's really well spoken, and I just respect her a lot and what she does. And obviously, I love indie VTubers. I love them so much. I'm so infatuated with indies. I watched a billion of them recently since Kersha has been doing a donathon and she's stuck on stream for like 200 hours. I've been watching a lot of her and I just really appreciate having her in the background.
Yeah, she's great. I've actually had the pleasure of working with her for a little while. And yeah, I watch her all the time.
I love her personality. She's not afraid to say anything. Every single time she speaks, I all I can think is, yes, queen, speak your truth.
How did Gotchi and Van become part of your like default stream overlay? How did you get to that point?
Oh man. Honestly, they have been on my stream overlay, I think, for at least 2 years. It's been a really long time. I have just always really, really appreciated Gotchi, and I think one day I was just like, I need something to spice up my stream. I need something to look at while I'm streaming. And so I decided to put uh Billy Harrington, like a gif of him in the corner of my overlay. One, so I could have something to look at when I'm streaming, and two, to like really catch people's attention. And then people come in and they go, "Oh my god, is that Gotchi?" And I have something fun to talk about. And I love to talk about Gotchi because it may sound silly, but it's a huge inspiration for me. And it's a huge inspiration for what I do and um the jokes I tell and the things I say on stream. So I guess in a way, Billy and Van have become kind of a reminder for me to stay authentic to myself, as cheesy as that sounds. But before I was streaming, I was super into Gotchi and the memes and like the meme culture they had on Nico Nico. It completely catapulted me into this world of Mads and YTPMVs. I absolutely adore it. It's one of my favorite things ever. And it really helped me open up as far as humor goes. Because before then, this is gonna sound kind of silly, but I didn't cuss at all. I felt uncomfortable cussing. I felt uncomfortable even thinking about a sex joke. And I think that Gotchi was the push I needed to be more comfortable with uh, infantile humor and being silly and authentic. And so I guess in a way they've kind of just become a reminder of who I want to be and who I am now.
That is surprisingly sweet.
I know you wouldn't expect a gay porn to do something like that, right?
Do you have any desire to do flesh tuber, quote unquote, content?
I've already done a few hand cam streams. I've been doing them for a hot minute now because I love Gunpla. So one of the first hand cam streams, no, the first hand cam stream I ever did, I built a Master Grade Zaku 2 on stream because I had the kit lying around and it's one of my favorites. So I decided to boot up the old webcam, get my hands down and dirty, and I barely made any progress at all. And I need to preface this by saying I did this on a whim at 4 a.m. I just booted up my stream and decided to build Gunpla. And it was a good choice because it got me confident to do hand cam streams. And I don't mind doing them at all. I think it's really fun. Actually, I showed off my merch launch on hand cam, which was really, really fun. I've done some snack tasting thingies. I want to do more Gunpla in the future. It's just a matter of I don't really have good lighting in my room, so I'd want to do it in the daytime so I get the natural lighting, and I stream at 10 p.m. PST. So I'm trying to find a way to make that work or a day that I can swing it. But yeah, I don't mind doing hand cam streams. I love it. I've shown my foot on stream. I think it's fun. I've cut open Funko Pops and filled them with peanut butter and eaten lemons and raw eggs. So I'm not opposed to flesh tuber streams like that. One thing I would probably never do is I would never do like face cam streams. Not because I don't want to, but because I think it as a VTuber, I I just want to be a VTuber. I just want to be a VTuber. Even though I'm a very authentic person on stream, I still like the idea of there being some form of separation and wonder. There's a beautiful wonder that comes with being an anime girl. And as beautiful as I think I am in the flesh world, uh I love being an anime girl even more, and I'm not really interested in diving into the world of face streaming.
Do you have any talents, skills, or interests that you would like to show off or share on stream, but that you haven't yet figured out how to make content out of?
This is a really interesting question. You really got me there. There was a point in time, actually. Not a lot of people know this about me, but I played violin for almost my entire life. And for a long time, I really wanted to find a way to be able to do this on stream, but now I hate to say it, but I've completely lost interest. I still have a huge passion for music, and I appreciate every single moment that I got playing with other people, but now it's not really in my interest. Maybe one day I could bring it back, but right now I'm kind of just more interested in I really want to be able to do more hand cam streams, as we were mentioning before. I really want to do more gunpla. I'm really into that, and this might sound kind of boring for a lot of people, but one thing I am really into is journaling and stationery and writing letters. And I don't have anybody to write letters to. Nobody at all. So I figured maybe if I did like a letter writing stream, I could write letters to viewer instead. And I kind of wanted to figure out how to do that or get that going at some point, because I have so much stationery that I keep in my desk. It is a mess in there. It is an absolute mess and a travesty that I don't use any of it. And every single time I go out, I buy new stickers and new paper and new pens, and I can't use any of it because I don't have anyone to write letters to except my mom. So maybe one day I can do something like that, and that might be ideal. As for talents, oh geez. I think I already use a majority of my talent when I stream. Unfortunately, I think my biggest talent is being able to talk so much and bullshit for so long. I'm a natural born shit poster. It's what I do. So, that's like my talent. I don't play violin anymore. I rarely ever draw unless it's in MS Paint. But I love talking, and I never get tired of it, and I love talking to people, and I love trying new games. And oh, you know what I want to do more of? I want to try more speedrunning. Ever since I got that world record and Pimp My Ride for the Wii, I have never been the same, and I want to do more of it. I swear I am going to be the next world champion of Barbie Horse Island. Just you wait. You're gonna see my name up in lights with a big number 1 next to it on the front page of speedrun.com, I swear.
watch speedruns of
Oh,
that.
so you're a Souls gamer. I see how it is.
A little
Mm.
bit.
A little bit. You just named like four FromSoft games.
Maybe.
Dude, I played a FromSoft game the other day. I played Metal Wolf Chaos for the first time, and I had no idea it was a FromSoft game.
I want to say that's the one where you're the president in
Yes,
the
you're the
mega mech suit.
president,
I
and you
think I
get
watched you
in
playing
this
that.
giant mech suit, and there's this girl, and she's always like, Mr. President, you should do this. And he's like, no, I'm the president, and I say what goes. And then he goes and he kills a bunch of prisoners of war with his big giant mech, and he goes, pow, 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 pow. It was freaking awesome. I had a great time.
Do you have any pets?
Oh, no, I don't. Well, I kind of do. I back home with my mom, back in the mountains, back in the boonies, the rurals. I have a cat, and I miss her so much. I miss her so much. Her name is Miko. Like, I named her after a Toho character, the prince with the weird cat ear looking hair. Yeah, I named her Miko, and she is so sweet. When I used to live back home with my mom, I would stream with her actually, and all of the time in the backgrounds of my streams, you could hear her meowing. She'd go meow meow all the time, and it was so cute, and I miss her so much, but it's so expensive to travel, and I just ask my mom to send me pictures of her all the time. But where I'm at right now, I don't have any pets, which is really unfortunate. But if I could have a pet, here's my dream pet, all right? I really want a duck. I want a duck so bad. Ducks are my favorite animal. I love them so much. They're so cute. Birds are my thing. When I was a kid, I told myself, if I grow up and I never fall in love and I never get married, I'm going to live a hermit's life where I live alone and I get a pet cockatoo and we live together happily ever after. And that's ideal. But I wouldn't get a cockatoo now, right now, because I have roommates. So I would get a pet duck. I want a little round one. I want a fat little round white duck. I want to get a call duck, and that's ideal. And I would name him something cute, like uh asparagus. I would name him after a food.
You say it? Did you say it's a call duck?
Yeah, a
What?
call duck. A call duck is a kind of duck. It's a duck breed. And I think they're the most popular ducks to have as pets. Peking ducks. All right, let me give you a little bit of duck lore right now. Peking ducks are the white ducks that you normally see like on farms and stuff. And those are really cute. They're good pets, but I think like the most popular like pet pet duck is a call duck. And I'm just assuming this because I see them all the time on Instagram and YouTube, and there's like people who dedicate their lives to filming their ducks, and it's amazing. I love them so much. There's this duck on YouTube that I watch, and his name is Munchkin, and he's a call duck, and he loves eating ice water.
12 seconds later.
Yeah.
I just found it.
Munchkin loves eating ice water. They go to Dunkin' Donuts. Her and her owner go to Dunkin' Donuts, and her owner asks for an ice water, and she goes absolutely crazy. She just goes blah 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 blah. She loves eating the ice and the water. It's so cute. I want one so bad.
You mentioned your brothers did a lot of your rearing and raising, and you've also
Mm.
spoken like on the stream about your brothers being like very protective of you and very nurturing of you. I'm curious about your general experience with that and what it looks like for you today.
Well, one thing it sure made me was I mean, everything you see, almost everything you see, is probably a direct translation of me being raised by my brothers. And I appreciate them so much for that. I really do. I love the things that I do. I wouldn't be into anime. I wouldn't know anything about games. But ever since I came out the womb, they've been handing me a controller that's been unplugged and I can pretend that I'm gaming with them. And I've been hooked ever since. I don't know, like everything they've done for me is the reason I'm a VTuber today. You know, it's the reason I am the way I am. It's the reason that um I have been on the internet so long and I know so much about like internet culture type stuff, right? And it's I never thought that it would be important in my job, but lo and behold, there we are. I mean, they got me into the games I love, like Sonic and Pokemon, and they passed down their manga to me. One of the first manga that I ever read was Love Hina, which is probably why I am so fucked up and Joker pilled, because that is etchy to the max. And I inherited all of those books too. I still have them somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it's everything, and I still really appreciate everything they've done for me. When I was sad, they would let me play Sonic and Sonic 2. Whenever we were celebrating something, we would play Smash Bros. Like, it was just wonderful. It's a wonderful experience, really. I mean, I think with that, it also came with a few struggles. I didn't really know how to talk to other girls, and I didn't know how to be feminine, if that makes sense. Like, even all my clothes were passed down from them, so I grew up in that, like, tomboy archetype, and that was kind of really difficult for me because later in life I learned that, oh, I really love clothes and I really care about my skincare and typically girly things like that. And I didn't realize that until way later, way down the line. I'm not complaining necessarily about this because I still really appreciate my childhood with them and everything we've been through together, really. But that was one thing that was really hard. And even to this day, I think it's really, really hard for me to reach out to girls or talk to them comfortably often. So that's been something I've been working through. But luckily for me, I've talked to a lot of new VTubers now who try to understand me and try to be my friend and talk to me. And even though I am not really good at reaching out to them, I hope that they know in some capacity that I really appreciate them. And every single girl that I've collaborated with in the past, like, I am so grateful because that's just like one more step towards me being able to talk to girls more comfortably and be happy in my own femininity, as silly as that sounds. But one thing about being raised by brothers as well is I got very, like, my brain got very corrupted at a young age to just be an absolute menace, like everywhere on the internet. But you know what? It's brought me great joy. It's brought me great joy. I have a great time shit posting. It's so fun. I love it. I love being a VTuber, and I'm so glad that my brothers were there for me when I needed them.
Do they still treat you like the kid sister?
Oh, yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. I feel like they don't even realize that I've grown up at all. I haven't seen them in person in so long, but I just know the first thing they would do is give me a wet willy if they could. They still see me that way, and they still see each other that way too. It's a lot of fun.
What does your future look like in your mind?
My future. Well, every single time I imagine my future, I just see where I am right now. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it in a good way. I still see myself being a VTuber, and I still see myself at this desk and having a great time talking to people and making content for people. And I try not to like force a future on myself. I kind of just want to see like where this can take me and what opportunities that could potentially arise. So, in my mind, all I see is like what I'm doing now, but maybe with more knowledge, you know? Maybe with new things to do and new games and better streams and more varied content. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'll get into model trains or something. I don't know. Who knows what the future could hold? I certainly don't. And it's always been really, really hard for me to very assuredly imagine my future. But right now, I'm at least sure of one thing. I don't want to give this up. I don't want to give up being a VTuber. I don't want to give up streaming. Like if I had to give up being a VTuber, fine, but I'll keep streaming. Um and if I had to give up streaming, fine, but I'll keep making YouTube videos. Like I really didn't think that I could love anything like this before. Like I said near the beginning, I was always very wishy-washy with everything I did, and I always wanted to try a bunch of different things, jack of all trades, master of none. I was always trying new things. Like artistically, I was sewing, I was watercoloring, I was trying to learn the freaking accordion. But this is something that I've actually stuck with. And I think that VTubing surprisingly has made me a better and more solid person, because now that I love this and I have a routine, I'm able to do things like other things for a longer period of time too. Like I just started going to the gym a few months ago, and I have been consistent for ever since I started. And I think it's because I've learned routine and I've learned to love doing what I do. Like, just absolutely love it. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a jack of all trades. That's fun in its own right. But I feel really, really happy to have some sense of stability in what I'm doing now, and love, and a feeling of I never want this to go away. So I hope that's my future too. That's what I see and that's what I hope. So no matter what, even if for some reason I end up graduating, I'll always be around. In some way, shape, or form. I'll always be trying to do something like this because I love it and I hope that's my future too. Me. I'm not gonna lie, one thing that really makes this whole and really makes me realize that I love it is this is completely a job where you just have to keep interacting. Like, you have to love people to some extent. And you know what? As I've fostered this community of fin cells that I have now, it's just been so beautiful for me to realize that I really do love being around people. I really do love talking to people, and there are people who think similarly to myself and that love watching me do what I like to do, and I absolutely love the people who watch me. 100%. I would never say it on stream. I would never say that. That's disgusting. I would never go on stream and go, wow, I love you guys so much. I would never. But the truth of the matter, the fact of the matter is, if I didn't have such wonderful, supportive people around me, my friends and my fin cells and community, then, you know, it wouldn't be nearly as worth it. So I love to do it because of all of the people that I have supporting me.
I'd originally planned on asking about the whole Five Guys meme, but I don't know if I want to get in with that. It's so sweet right now.
You can do it. I don't mind. I'm sure I have a lot to say about it.
All right. Yeah, you know what? Okay, fuck it. For those of you who are unaware, the so-called Five Guys incident I'm referring to happened during and after Offkai 2023. Mari's close friend and roommate, another VTuber by the name of Hina Bobina, had joined her in attending Offkai, and was out exploring the convention whilst enjoying some medical-strength Zaza. At the same time, Mari had invited several friends over to play Mario Party, and texted Hina to avoid their hotel room since she could get paranoid around groups of people when she was high. Being that one of the side effects of cannabis is memory loss, Hina forgot this, and came back to the hotel room, which resulted in an awkward social encounter that she later recounted to her fans on stream. However, because she was somewhat vague in her story about Mari's friends, likely to protect their privacy, a number of people took this to mean that Mari had a bunch of men come over for an orgy, and began spreading the rumor like wildfire. Around Offkai, there was an incident.
So
How did you experience this?
it's really funny because right after Offkai, I made a trek to get the special edition Mountain Dew Supernova Slurpee. Alright, so I wasn't home after Offkai. I wasn't home. I was out, and like right in the morning, I had woken up and I looked at Twitter and I was like, oh my god, why do I have 20 plus notifications? And at first, I sat there and I was absolutely freaking horrified. I saw that and I was so confused and so scared, to be completely real with you. I was like, how could anybody say something like this. And it made me feel super vulnerable. Like, a lot of people don't know this because of how I played it off, but it made me feel so sad and like I didn't matter, because people were unironically, like, with no thought, immediately, no thought to whether it might be true or not, in my DMs, calling me a whore, calling me a slut, saying I should be ashamed, commenting on my Twitter posts and the posts other people were making. And I'm not gonna lie, I started crying. And I didn't really have many people I could go to at all. And I was so sad, and I really didn't know how to play it at first, because I felt like disgusted. I felt disgusted, especially because if there's one thing my longtime viewers know about me, it's that I love a good sex joke, but I'm not really comfortable with the topic of, like, sex or anything like that. Like I said, gotcha is the thing that's really pulling me together and allowing me to be authentic and say funny things like that. But it was really hard, because for anybody to believe that someone like me would get into something like that, I was dejected. Even like some of my newer viewers, they got out of there. They're like, that's gross. And I felt so ashamed. I felt ashamed about something I didn't even do. And all I could really do at that point was like the shit posting instincts kicked in, and I was like, if you can't beat them, join them. Right? Because the thing is, I grew up in an internet that was truly the Wild West. And the only thing I knew that I could do that was going to do anything was I decided to play into the joke and shill my merch with it. So I decided to shill my Fumo plush that came out. And I made a tweet that was like, do you want your very own plush of the CEO of sex? Well, here you go. And then I linked everybody to the pre-order. But I know, because I've gotten into bad situations before in my streaming. Very, like, little context. Nobody knows about me and everyone's blowing it up on Twitter. I've gotten into bad situations like this before, and I know already that if I try to tell people sincerely, like, hey, this didn't happen, nobody's going to believe you, nobody's gonna care, and it's gonna make you look worse. So one thing that was really hard, but I had to do, was I just kind of had to roll with the punches, basically, and hope that eventually people would realize and, like, new viewers would start weeding themselves out. So I just memed it to the maximum I possibly could, hoping, like, maybe it would get more people to come check me out and see that I'm a really cool fish and I have a really fun time. And you know what? Some people did. And some people probably still believe that I had sex with 5 guys. But there's nothing I can really do about that, because, you know, people will believe what they want to. I can't tell them. Unfortunately, I can say it right now. I can say it with a full chest. I didn't have sex with 5 guys. There was no orgy. I'm so sorry. But nobody's going to want to believe that, so they're not going to. So the only thing I can say is, yep, I had sex with 5 billion guys, and you weren't one of them.
And it's gonna be more at next off topic.
Yeah, just wait. Next year it's gonna be
Yeah.
6 billion. You just wait. 5 billion? Quitter talk. Absolutely. That's nothing. There's nothing to the great Mari Mari underscore N. But yeah, it was especially really hard because one thing that hurt was like I was finally getting out of my comfort zone and going back to conventions. I was hanging out with my friends. I was doing everything I could. I did like everything I possibly could. I went to meet and greets. I bought a bunch of merch. I went to the little rave they had there. I went to virtual concerts. I did so much. And just for it to be and I had so much fun. I just want to put that out there. It was so much fun. And just for it to be whittled down to a rat, a rumor, something that didn't even happen, like it kind of pushed me back in my box a little bit, unfortunately. And it made me a little bit upset, but that's just the internet, man. In a way, that's kind of what I signed up for when I decided to become a public figure and a VTuber. Because things like that are just gonna happen, and it does hurt, but it could have been way worse, and I didn't lose any of the people who mattered. I didn't lose my viewers, I didn't lose friends. I just had a bunch of people in my DMs calling me a whore, and you know what? Everybody has to go through that at some point in their life.
Yeah, I'll say from like an outside perspective, I had a lot of respect for how you handled it. I felt like that was it felt like, yeah, the most just effective, pragmatic way to handle it, and also the most fun way.
Yeah,
And I wasn't I until you like, talked about it after, I didn't even realize like how difficult it, was for you to handle it.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I would like to consider myself a very strong fish, but it was very hurtful. I mean, for anybody, that's like really hurtful, but especially for somebody who is scared of sex. To be frank with you, for somebody who's scared of sex and until very recently couldn't even curse at all. Like that was really really hard. I feel good now though. I'm glad it's passed and I'm glad I handled it the way I did too. But I didn't really have a choice, especially because one of the things that I really like to do is within my streams and within my Twitter, I want to remain having a very like fun, active, like jokey type of atmosphere. I really don't like to sit down and be like, hey, this is this very serious thing that we need to talk about. I really don't like to do that. I'm an anime girl on the internet. I really shouldn't be talking about social issues. Please don't listen. I don't think people should listen to VTubers when it comes to social issues. You're literally listening to an anime girl babble on the internet. I'm really sorry. I can't do that. I'm here for a good time. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to make you smile. And even with a difficult situation, I really wanted to keep that up. And I'm glad that I could. I really am.
where it stemmed from was just a very unfortunate phrasing by a good friend of yours, and I checked her Twitter, and she was very upset that it like led to something like that happening to you. Have you had the chance to like talk it out with her, and does she feel okay about things now, and are you guys Is it cool now?
Oh, yeah, obviously. I mean, I am a very easygoing person regardless, so I don't think I could ever hold that against anybody cuz I've made mistakes too. And I've worded things in ways that weren't necessarily smart, and I would never put that against her. I wouldn't put that against anybody because you can tell. You can usually tell if they mean it or not. And obviously, my best friend isn't going out of her way to try to drag me, especially when we live together. So that would not be a very smart move on her part. So of course we've talked it out. Of course it's fine. Like I don't mind. I really don't mind that like where it came from or where it stemmed from. What I do mind is people being inconsiderate and going into my DMs and calling me a whore slut whore. That's all I care about.
I guess, do you feel like she's forgiven herself for that?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
That's good.
Mhm.
Mari, it has been wonderful getting to meet you and talk to you and get to know you. I've taken up more than enough of your time today. How would you like to send us off?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I had a great time. I love talking, so this was awesome. I love when people invite me to talk and do stuff. But as for viewers, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for having an interest in Mari_N. I stream at 10 p.m. PST about 5 days a week, excluding Sundays because that's the day we praise the Lord. Don't show up on a Sunday. But aside from that, I don't really have a lot of important things I need to mention, so I'm Mari_N signing off. I love truckin', I love fucking, but most importantly, I love cranking my hog. Yeehaw.
Thank you for sticking around to the end of this marathon of a video. We had shot footage for I think around an hour and a half. I only really had the heart to cut out around half an hour. Part of that is, of course, private conversations. Some of it's dead air. A lot of it was me just being awkward and stumbling over my own words. But this video has been a labor of love. Mari was wonderful to talk to. You know, we bounced around a ton of topics. She was just happy to, tell me all sorts of stories about herself and her life. And I sincerely hope that you enjoyed them as much as I did. If you want to see more of Mari and you're not already a viewer of her, she streams usually in the evenings Pacific time, usually starting at around 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., somewhere in that range. And you can find her at twitch.tv/Mari_En. If you have not watched her streams or had the opportunity to catch her live, I highly recommend you do. I was fortunate enough to capture a wonderful, very human and personal angle of Mari in this interview, but the format also means that she wasn't as free to be her full comedic self. She was answering very personal questions. She is far funnier than I let her be in this interview, and you can really get to see and appreciate that on her live streams. Go watch her at Mari_En on twitch.tv. You won't regret it. Trust me. Thank you all for coming by. And until next time, stay safe.